All right. Article 20, acceptance and objection to reservation. Right. A reservation expressly authorized by a treaty, all right, does not require any subsequent acceptance by the other party. Meaning that if you have a reservation and reservation is done in the mode of Article 19, your reservation is good. Nobody can object. All right. Second, when it appears from the limited number of negotiation and the object and purpose that the application of the treaty in its entirety between parties is an essential condition to request for consent, then that consent must be required. Kena baca dulu the treaty. Kadang-kadang reservation tak payah dapat consent. And some country, in some treaty, reservation perlu consent. Then you must get consent. All right. When a treaty is constituent instrument of an international organization, unless otherwise, reservation requires acceptance of the competent organs. Sometimes they kata your reservation mesti dinilai dulu oleh this special committee. So that committee will nilai, all right, and then they will accept your reservation. They may reject your reservation, all right. Tadi nombor 2, because there was a condition in the treaty that says the other parties to the treaty must consent to it. In the first place, there is no requirements. It's reservation is allowed, that's a full stop, right? Nothing else is said in the body of the treaty. Therefore, reservation is good. It doesn't have to be agreed by others. It doesn't have to be, all right, read or approved by a committee or organs. All right. Number 4, in the case of not falling under the preceding paragraph and unless a treaty otherwise provide. Nampak tu, catch the word, and unless the treaty says so. The acceptance of another contracting reserving a reservation, if they, all right, will come into force automatic. An objection by another contracting parties to the reservation does not preclude the entry into force. All right, you don't like the reservation from other country, but it was there. That doesn't mean the ratification should not be carried out. Entry into force will still be effective. Right, in the situation of UNCLOS 1982, Malaysia reservation on the status of Straits of Malacca was objected and still is objected by America. Daripada the day it was submitted, on the day of signature, and on the day of ratification, and on the day of entry. But it doesn't matter. You may object anyhow you like. The reservation is good because the treaty says nothing about it and it's not in conflict with the objective and purpose. All right. Okay. Okay. Even though other country objected it or resented and aggressively or not, whatever it is, your reservation is good for your country. All right. An act expressing a state consent to be bound by treaty and containing a reservation ineffective as soon as at least one other contracting parties accepted the reservation. Kadang-kadang it requires a full consent of the state members. Kadang-kadang it requires only to have one country supporting. So your reservation is good. So pay attention. Read on the facts given to you. When it comes to reservation, what kind of reservation is expected? All right. Okay. Right. Unless the treaty otherwise provides, a reservation is considered to have been accepted if it shall have raised no objection to the reservation. All right. You tak object, tak ada siapa object. All right. Then therefore the treaty is good. Ini dia panggil, all right, effect clause. The implication clause. Tak ada orang object, tak ada apa-apa, the body tak ada cakap apa in the content, all right, then the reservation is good to be adhered to by the state that produced the reservation. All right, legal effect, legal elect of reservation of objection. A reservation established with regards to another party in accordance with article above. All right, modification for the reserving state in its relation with the other party. For example, Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia, we have our reservation. But let's presume, all right, Vietnam doesn't like it. Vietnam says, all right, you have to change this a little bit, all right, to accommodate us. Or, Papua New Guinea or Timor-Leste object to the reservation at that time. I'm just giving you an example. All right, can it be modified? All right, okay. To the treaty, can it be modified to give it a legal effect? Tak perlu. Tapi kalau the content of the treaty kata modification must be taken into consideration by the state that offers reservation. Jadi the state kenalah offer that modification. Right. Modify the provision to the same extent for that party in its relation with the reserving. So inilah dia. Kalau ada modification, the body of the text allow modification to be concerned, so you mestilah betulkan modify it. The reservation does not modify the provision for the other party to the treaty. Alright, okay. Tapi the modification doesn't affect anybody. You just betulkan the language. You just betulkan certain things. Right. Sometimes you need to do the modification. Sometimes you can just forgo. Alright. Sometimes people ask questions on the ratification and they suggest modification must be done. You don't have to listen to them. Alright. Because it's not requirements in the body text of the treaty. Okay, when a state objection to a reservation has been opposed, all right, the entry into force of the treaty between itself and the reserving state, the provision to which the reservation relates do not apply as between the two states to the extent of the reservation. All right, if you did not object, has not opposed the entry, you kata you tak opposed to the entry into force of the treaty. Tapi apa you buat? You don't like the reservation. It's not going to have any effect. Should the reservation be modified? If there is a duty to modify, then you do. If not, leave it that way. All right? Because reservation is good only to the state that brings the reservation. It doesn't kacau siapa-siapa pun. All right? Jadi, what was the purpose of reservation? Is to reserve your rights, your interests, your history. All right. Dekat Malaysia, when a ship come into the territory of Straits of Malacca, this is territorial sea of Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. Jadi all the law of the three countries have already abide. So modified ke tak? If the law dah ada, you have to abide by. Itu dia punya rulings pula dekat UNCLOS. Ada local law. If you tumpang lalu, you kena abide lah by the local law. What was the local law that's so effective in Selat Melaka? The traffic separation system. The type you build your ship. Itu semua kita punya ruling. Alright, okay. Now, withdrawal of reservation and objection. Unless the treaty otherwise provide, a reservation may be withdrawn at any time and the consent of the state which has accepted the reservation is not required for its withdrawal. Alright, okay. So kalau the state to withdraw from the reservation, country that support it, no need to withdraw. Dia dah terbatal sendiri. Alright, unless the treaty otherwise provide, an objection to a reservation may be withdrawn at any time. Unless the treaty otherwise provide or it is good agreed. Ni dipanggil apa? Inferences. Alright, A, withdrawal of reservation become operative to the contracting party. Withdrawal of the objection to a treaty become operative only when notice of it has been received. Notice. Nampak tak? Kena hantar notice. Tadi dia automatic. In the A, in the B mesti ada notice. Depend on what is in the body of the treaty. You nak withdraw daripada your reservation, you kena ada apa? Notice. Jangan kena buat notice lah. Okay. Procedure regarding reservation. Very important for reservation to be legal. A reservation, alright, or objection to reservation must be in writing and communicated to the contracting party and other members entitled to become the party. Katalah Malaysia supported by Indonesia, Singapore is the other members of the reservation party. Alright, the reservation tu mesti hantar to the rest of the member. But that is not your job. Your job is to tell the committee that you have a reservation. The committee nanti yang akan hantar to the rest of the world. Yeah, if formulated when signing the treaty subject to ratification, the reservation must be formally confirmed by the that. Right, when expressing its consent to be bound by the treaty. So you must make known to the rest after, if you have a reservation after signature, that you have a reservation, and express acceptance or an objection to a reservation made previously to confirm the reservation does not itself require confirmation. Express acceptance. Semua orang dah suka, semua orang dah terima, or semua orang dah object, then you don't have to send a note or confirm that it has been cancelled or withdrawn. Withdrawal of reservation to a reservation must be formulated in writing. Right? Notice tak perlu, tapi information perlu in writing. Objection. Alright, okay. Any question with regards to reservation?
Prof, siapa yang simpan all this treaty?
Oh, itu dia panggil semua treaty simpan oleh the organisation sebelum dia enter into force. Right, the organising committee. Kalau ada perkataan enforcement, the organizing committee is one of the organ in United Nations. Kalau tak ada perkataan convention, the organizing committee is a private committee that is appointed. Right? Tapi, ada tapi kan? Ni semua sebelum enter into force. But the moment the treaty is entered into force, all this document reservation or whatever, semuanya disimpan selepas entry into force, simpan dekat depository office. Kat mana? Depository office dekat New York, in the building called United Nations Depository Center. Right? Jadi kalau you nak kerja, kat situ lah best. Right? I think there. Alright, saya dah duduk lama, keras dah punggung. Alright, okay. Now I wanted to say this. Then in the depository body, there are level dekat situ for unclosed sahaja. Semua dokumen daripada hari 1958. Alright, dia ada 3 level. Dalam bangunan tu ada 3 lagi level. 58, 79, 82. Alright, okay, semua ni kelab dia kebanyakannya Indonesian law student. Right, okay. Kita pergi ke, they are very friendly, they are very helpful. Right. Now, where do you find the depository address? You look into clause. I can give you one example. Semua at the back of all treaty, they would say that the document once completed, entered into force, must be submitted to the depository office. Dia cakap macam itu je. Tapi the address is in United Nations, except in a treaty called UNCLOS 1982. I think section 292 ke 296 ke, tapi 29 ke atas. Because last section ni is 320. Daripada 29 tu ke atas, semua officers punya address. Office dia, address dia ada tulis kat situ, in the house, depository house in New York. Boleh? He's Rihanna. Macam mana bunyi nama you?
He's Rihanna, correct.
He's cantik. Alright. Okay. Boleh? Ada lagi soalan nak tanya?
Tapi Prof, kenapa Indonesian law student yang tu?
Yeah, I suka you tanya that soalan. Kenapa? Yeah. Because they take up the offer. Have you looked into www.un.org? Alright. Kalau you belum,
I have actually macam went into UN punya career website kan.
Yeah.
Nak kerja kat UN.
Betul.
Tapi dia require degree holder kan.
Dia ada dekat bawah tu, either you want to be a student kan, dia kata training, or you want to apply for a job. Kalau you want to buy, dia kata apa? Internship. Right? Okay. Sebab tu saya kata, kita selalu lepas pergi universiti in England, ke mana-mana universiti outside Malaysia, kita balik rumah and kerja. Tapi the Indonesian, they don't balik rumah. Alright, they go to this website and they look for internship. For you to be an internship, you have to have a degree. Jadi you pass lah your degree. Lepas tu you become an intern. Jadi sebelum you become an intern, most of these girls dia kerja kat kedai kopi dulu. Dapat RM500, euro ke, pound ke. Lepas tu dia pergi situ, dia isi borang, dia call for interview. Alright? Once you get to be the intern over there, either you intern category 1, 2, 3, ada banyak kategori kat situ, or you got a job. Right? Boleh. Okay, kenapa you nak RM500 tu? Because you nak pergi ke Europe and sit for the interview, sewa bilik, duduk kat situ sekejap, cuci the hotel. I know them. Right? Okay, because one of my professors is Professor Mohta. Right. Professor Mohta ni is a professor long ago involved in the drafting of United Nations. He was sent. Indonesia, you know, they find their sea very important. He was involved in 1969 sampai. Malaysia pun ada. Banyak datuk daripada Malaysia. Tapi as I said, Malaysia suka balik rumah. So when he teach in the University of Washington, and he comes and as a speaker in my university, Southampton and Bristol, he offered that. He told us the same. All right. Tapi in Indonesia, they are very different. Now, this Indonesian, they speak good English and then they are good manners. And they are just like any other Asian, hard-working people. Cakap aja nak dokumen tu, nanti sekejap. Pergi cari. And then sometimes, you see, sometimes it's good, sometimes it makes you understand. And I always admire how brave they are to work in a day, to serve kemas hotel and all that. Pasal they are not supported by scholarship. Jadi bila dia dapat kerja, the intern akan bayar dia duit. They always tell me dia akan kerja beria dekat England ke anywhere to get £500 or 500 whatever that time, tak ada euro. Alright. Simpan dalam kocek ni nak makan sampai dapat gaji. The moment they saw Indonesian walk into the interview, definitely they got a job. They get to be accepted. Kenapa? Sebab they love to welcome, alright, us. Kenapa? Sebab nak tahu kita ni clever or not, they tahu we are hardworking. So, but then the thing is, it's not to brag about that, just to tell you, sometimes we see in the document office in New York, a lot of Indonesian. So it's easy in a way. They are very friendly, you know. Right? I've seen a Malaysian that are not friendly, tapi Indonesian are all very friendly, very assistive. So one day, if you want to look into the original documents, all right, okay, just visit, okay. And in the library, ICJ library, UN library, there are also a lot of friendly faces. Bila dia boleh cakap Melayu, alright, and accept kita, lebih senang to have a conversation. Alright. Of course, we don't break the rules. We don't want them to break the rules, but there are privileges that they can allow you to inspect some documents or read something. Alright. It's not really rahsia over in the depository center. Tak ada rahsia. Alright, because it's difficult to go to Putrajaya and have the document. You have to go through many stages and sometimes you don't know where it is. It is there. Right? Jadi, it's easier to go if you get a break. Last time I went to UK, we went to United Nations office again. Alright? Okay, dekat United, in England also they have a library. Sometimes you can't get it, you go to the library, ask the library to get it for you from New York. Library kita pun boleh buat, but nobody has tried. Okay, boleh? Alright, so we are at the end of our class. Right. Okay, bear with me sekejap. Okay, nanti this law of treaties in my next class, I'll send you a list. Alright, I'll send you a list of cases. Open up a book, look into the list, mark some of the cases. right? Not so much that I want you to discuss it, right? Tapi actually I have already sent you the list, isn't it, in the future. Look into that list. Buka buku on the topic of law of treaty. All right, I have to end the class kejap lagi. Got 1 hour. Let me just finish saying this. Apa tadi? Buka buku, look into the law of treaties, look into all the number tu baca. Of course, I will be willing to give you the facts. Sometimes saya terlupa dan tersilap. So you are going to assist me. Kat mana saya terlupa, alright, ingatkan. Tapi so far that I boleh ingat, I don't make that mistakes. And if I do, I can quickly correct myself. Jadi the next class, we are going to look into the law of treaty in its practical aspect by looking into apa? By looking into the application, how treaty cause dispute between the states. Alright. Jadi, list tu banyak. List tu semua gabungan. Apa yang saya belum buat dengan the list is classified. Chapter 1, topic 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I don't want to classify it because I want you to go through. Kalau you can go through to 45 ke 50 that cases, alright, over and all the time on each topic, senang nak dulu, senang nak faham. Alright, the cases bukan kita hafal dia, tapi faham dia so that it can be applied. Right, jadi one case can be used, some part of the facts in the topic 1, some part in the topic 3. But my aim is to discuss as many cases in my next class. Next class, seminar 3, we are still looking into the law of treaty. Lepas tu, seminar 4, we are coming into the states. Seminar 5, 6, 7, alright, 7 definitely, 7 definitely is the dispute. Alright, boleh? Boleh you do that on your part? Read, you must go through all this. Alright, I put, okay, right? Semua sekali ni kena baca dia sekali arung. Kena cari which section that talks about fakta sun sarbanda. Kena tahu that section. Because the principle of fakta sun sarbanda need to be explained. All 3. Alright, free consent, and then principles apa? Nombor 2, good faith behavior, and nombor 3, fakta sun sarbanda. That one, you do that for your own benefit. Right? Look into the cases, and next class we are discussing it in the nature of the 3 principles. Saya put a full stop to that one. Let's look into the questions that I've given you for your test. That will take you 2 weeks. Berapa hari bulan saya dah tulis kat situ for you to submit it back to me. Right? I put the question in your WhatsApp group. I put the question and the announcement in your future. You look into that. Alright, apa yang you nak cari daripada situ? How do you want to say that Vienna Convention, it's according to the Vienna Convention rules, that paragraph mentioned in the question is a treaty? Jadi you kena discuss that definition of treaty, free consent principles, good faith principles, fakta sun sarbanda. Right? Once you can approve this, look into the next one. Is there a reservation? If there is a reservation, what kind of reservation it is? Right? Is it the kind that is mentioned in Article 11 or in Article 19? Is that the kind of reservation that needed to be approved by another state? Is that a kind of reservation that directly be applied? Alright, you tahu kan the answer to that depend on the context of the body of the original. Look at the purpose and the objective. These are the things that you need to confirm. Alright, before you say that paragraph is actually a treaty that is valid according to the procedure and the law in the United Vienna Convention law of treaties. Boleh? That is how you answer it. How good you are in your explanation, of course, your answer must not exceed 10 muka surat. That questions is one of the questions in the past year. Saya buang yang lain. I malas nak tengok yang banyak-banyak tu. Kan nanti you get attracted. Your focus will be dissuaded. So just answer that question with all that we have today. Alright, okay, boleh? Look into it, discuss it. I don't want you to copy section 11, 12 sampai section 19. Jangan copy dia. Tapi apa yang perlu is the explanation. I want you to go into baca baris by baris of the question, see how componentkan dia. The first one, it must meet the principle. Second one, who has the capacity of signing. The next one is the reservation. Is the reservation to the standard that we have discussed? And then talk a little bit about the legality. For it to be legal, ada section tadi we talk about the legality. Ya, macam tu you discussed it. Okay, boleh? Then hantar to me. Alright, no later than the date that I have mentioned. Alright, it's not that I am very stern with it, but that is what a student job, your task is to meet. I'll give you 2 weeks. Exam this semester, the question will be according to the full time, who then going to contract, because last semester I did the exam questions. Alright, this semester it is the full-time RP. Jadi you have to make sure that you know, because the full-time RP is a person who is a champion in debating. Alright, dia cikgu for all the awards that ITM menang. Alright, in the world. Dia also a person who graduates daripada international law from European university. Alright, okay, so you see their understanding is really very deep into the international law. Jadi you be prepared, kena faham dia ya. Alright, kena be willing not to copy section. Of course yang mark you, saya. Alright, then you know, you have to display your understanding, that you understand international law and you be able to answer at least the gist of the question. Jadi kena buat baik sikit exercise. Kali ni the test and all the other 3 tests, saya memang akan ajar you how to jawab, because I want you to excel in your answers, so that your 60% will be good and strong. Jadi kalau dah fail kat situ, habislah cerita kan. Maknanya saya dah tolong, and then you tak tolong diri you sendiri. That much is said for today. Alright, having said that, alright, I thank you. Alright, thank you very much.